Good evening and welcome to Shining Waters Yoga. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. It's a few minutes before 6 o'clock. I like to pop on early and just make sure that we don't have any kinds of technical challenges. For this evening's practice, as always, or as usual, I should say, if you have props that you like to use, you might want a blanket for your knees. You might want a block to sit on in the beginning, or blocks to practice with if that's how you like to practice, but not necessary if you don't own those things. And some of you may not need those things. So always remembering that this is your practice, doing as much or as little as you are feeling right now. I hope you can hear me good tonight. There's some sound from that. I'm not sure if you can hear the cars going by or not. Hopefully not. I did just order a microphone, a mic set for these live classes, but it hasn't come in yet. So bear with me. We'll get started in just another couple of minutes. So grab your props that you'd like to use. I'm not going to use a strap tonight, but if you'd like to have one, certainly you can have that. Yeah. And then we're going to start with just a little bit of centering. So I do want to wait until it's 6 o'clock in case anybody else pops on. We have got about 1 more minute. I'm getting some questions here, so I'm answering. Okay. So this is not going to be a yin class tonight. If you're looking for that, there is a yin class on my YouTube channel and also on my Facebook page. There's actually a couple of them now. I recorded one last week, so we'll be a little bit more active tonight. But again, take it where you want to it. If we get into a posture and your body's really wanting to stay in that posture and hold the pose longer, then please, make it your own. I can't see you, but you can see me, so you can really follow along with me as much or as little as you want to. That being said, I think it's about time to get started. I'm going to start seated tonight, kneeling, and I'm going to use a block to sit on, so placing that right under my bum, and hero pose. So for some of you, if this much knee flexion is not comfortable or doesn't work for you, if you have any kind of knee restrictions, then just sit in a comfortable seat. You could be cross-legged, you could be in a chair even. Just making sure that we're not rounding into finding your pelvis and tilting it forward and back a little bit. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to check and make sure I'm not getting a notice about the internet. Okay, so make sure my signal is good. So as you get comfortable, and just something to note about that, the pelvis, the shape of the pelvis and the legs, different for everybody. So some of us, our femurs maybe kind of go inward a little bit, and this pose might actually be easier to sit between the legs. Others, the femurs might turn outward a little bit more, and this might be really difficult, and you might want to sit more up on the feet or on the block. So I'm able to go either way, but I'm going to use a block tonight just to get a little bit lifted. So however you've chosen to sit, let's just be present. And so the theme tonight is presence. Coming up in October, I'm going to start doing Mindful Mondays again, so just for the month of October. And I was thinking kind of in preparation for that, tools that I've been using in my own life with everything going on in the world, and I don't have to name all those things. I mean, you guys are having your experiences. Of course, there's things that are affecting all of us, and then there's the personal things in our lives that we deal with every day. And so for me, one of the most helpful practices right now, I do my yoga every morning, I do meditation every morning, and sometimes that's still not enough. when I'm dealing with a crisis or I'm dealing with just one thing on top of another, my practice is presence. It's just being present right now and time. We have a tendency to always be planning for the future, which isn't a bad thing, but to always be thinking ahead or regretting something we did in the past. So there's that going forward, looking back. But tonight I invite you to just be present. And sometimes we have such a hard time just slowing down, being present with what is. And as you cultivate that practice and take it into your life, when things get really crazy, and if you just say, you know what, I can just focus on what's right in front of me, right here, right now. And if everything doesn't get done, so be it. It's not going to be the end of the world. But really, that's all we can do. Just be present with what is right now. Because you're not really in complete control of the future. I mean, certainly you can plan for it, but there's things we can't plan for, right? No one planned for COVID-19. Or very few of us did, if any. We can't change the past. That's a given. So let's just stay present for tonight. And I wanted to just share a couple things from this book, Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, because she talks about presence several times. And I love this is almost like her definition for mindfulness, because she's talking about as students in life, and we're all students. I'm a student. As students, all we need is mindfulness. Paying attention is a form of reciprocity with a living world. Receiving the gifts with open eyes and open heart. And then a little bit later on, she says, paying attention is other than our own. Listening, standing witness, creates an openness to the world in which the boundaries between us can dissolve in a raindrop. So just a couple of things to think about. Let's come to center ourselves in our seated posture. If you'd like, you could touch your index fingers to your thumb and just curl the other fingers down and place the hands on top of your thighs. Feel the connection between your legs, the tops of your feet, and the earth. If you're sitting as I am, whatever part of you is touching the earth. And your sits bones on the earth or the block, whatever you're sitting on. Just be conscious of that sensation of touch between you and the earth. If it's helpful, you can close your eyes or simply gaze downward. And then begin to shift your attention to your breath. Breathe into your belly. Feel the expansion of the belly. Soften the belly as you exhale. Breathe into the ribs. Soften the rib cage as you exhale. And breathe into the chest. Feel the breath rise. And then put it all together, breathing from belly, ribs, all the way up to the chest. Maybe pause at the top. And slowly exhale, in and out through the nose. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, and the chest, and pause. Feeling that sense of fullness. Exhale all the breath out. And feel a sense of emptiness, but also openness. We're creating space, making space. And please breathe at your pace. Taking a couple more breaths like that, watching your breath. And just being present with what is in this moment. Knowing there's nothing else you have to do right now. Feel how the breath moves the body. As you hold at the top, maybe noticing a little bit of an arch in the spine as you lift the sternum. And as you exhale, a little softening, coming back to neutral, not rounding forward. One more time. Breathing in, lift the sternum, open the chest. Maybe even start to look up to the sky. You can keep the eyes closed, but taking the chin upwards. Then opening the eyes. You can stay on the block or not, up to you. I'm going to start to just lift. I'm actually going to sit up on my heels. Lift the right knee with my hand so that I'm stretching the front of my right shin. And if this position is not comfortable for you and you're not kneeling like I am, you could come into a lunge. You can step into a lunge, and you're still going to be stretching the front of your right shin and the top of the right foot. That's the stretch we're going for. You could even lift your knee up, if that's okay for you, in that lunge and stretch the front of your leg. Otherwise, if you're okay with the kneeling, we're just lifting that leg up. Feel the stretch. We're going to work a little bit front body, back body. And then release it down and just taking the other knee, lifting it up, stretching the front of the foot and the muscles around the shin. Same thing if you need to take the lunge pose instead, that's totally fine. And releasing down. And then we're just going to simply take the hands forward, tuck your toes under so that we can now stretch the back of the foot and start to sit up if you can. So this can be pretty intense for some people. If you have bunions or any kind of plantar fascia, this could feel good or it could feel painful. So if you come forward, you'll take some of the weight out off the heels, and that'll be a little easier. And of course, also untuck as necessary. If you want a little bit more, you can sit back on your heels. Another way to take some of that weight off is to sit up. So a couple of options. Bringing the hands together, let's interlace the fingers and press the palms up. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, so draw the lower ribs in. And inhale and see if you can press a little higher. And then exhale the hands down to the top of the head. I'm just going to turn and face you. Toes still tucked if you're okay with it. If you need to untuck, just untuck the toes. So we're going to inhale and press the palms up. Exhale down. Inhale, press the palms up. And exhale down. Press up. Exhale down. Press up to the sky and exhale, release the arms out to the side like a T. We're going to turn one palm up, the other one down, or even towards the back of the wall, twisting the arms in the socket. So you get a little lengthening motion here. Movement for the shoulders. And then if you haven't already, bring the hands forward and untuck those toes. It might be like, huge relief. Take your fingertips to your shoulders and we'll just do a little bit more upper body here, circling the elbows forward, up, back and down. Moving with the breath. And reversing the direction, going the other way. And releasing the shoulders down. We're going to transition now to hands and knees. So if you would like to pad your knees, and I'm going to pad my knees, please do so. Walks out of the way. Knees should be about hip width apart, and the hands about shoulder width apart. And we'll do a couple of cat-cows, so just warming up the spine here. Inhaling, looking right now. So as you exhale, you're going to draw your belly towards your spine, and feel that rounding in the upper back. So don't overdo in the lower. Inhale, look forward, arching. Exhale, draw the belly to the spine, and feel the stretch in the upper body between the shoulder blades. And again, moving with your breath, inhale into a cow pose. Arching the spine, lifting the tailbone, and exhale, rounding here. One more time, inhale, and exhale. If you like, you can make fists with your hands and press into the mat, get a little more stretch. Let go of the neck. And then bringing hands back down. Anytime you need a little rest from that, if you have arthritis or anything, just lift the hands up from the mat. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead. I'll start with the left side today. Step the left foot back. Press through the heel, get a nice stretch in the back body. Notice the sensation in the back of your calf. And then lifting that leg up. Take the right arm out, find some balance there. Maybe turn the back toes out a little bit without opening from your hip. So just turning the toes out slightly. It's a very small movement. Engage your belly, draw the belly in, reach, and bring it down. Other side, step through the right heel, press through the heel, toes tucked under, get that stretch. Don't want to miss that stretch, it's a nice juicy one. We're going to do a deeper stretch in a minute. So lifting that leg up, find the length there, and then opposite arm, draw the belly in. Maybe turn the toes out just slightly. And exhale it down. Moving back and forth a couple times. Straighten the left leg, reach the right arm, and release. Straighten the right leg, left arm. Inhale. Exhale, firm the belly. And release. Other side, left leg, right arm. So it's good for strength for the lower back. Exhale it down. And reach right leg, left arm. Inhale. Exhale, firm the belly, and bring it down. And then from here, we're going to come down to our forearms, interlace the hands. Elbows are about shoulder width apart. And I was just realizing that I didn't adjust my camera, but I'm pretty sure you can see me on the mat here. So from here, we're going to come into a dolphin pose. Tucking the toes under, start to lift those hips up, bringing the head down towards the mat. Maybe you have to walk the feet in a little bit. The feet should be hip width apart. So you're looking at your feet. Make sure that they're hip width apart. Press down through your forearms a little bit more. That might lift you, like push you away from the mat a little bit. And then imagine sinking your heels towards the floor. They're not going to go all the way down, most likely. Totally fine. But feel that stretch in the backs of the legs. Breathe. Enjoy that stretch and the muscles around your ankles, Achilles tendon. And then bring the knees back down. We're going to do almost the opposite thing. We're going to start to sink the hips towards your heels. Keep the elbows down. Take prayer hands and bring the thumbs back to the back of your skull. So you're in a child's pose here. Knees are wide, toes towards each other, maybe touching. And thumbs towards the back of the head. Maybe walk the elbows forward a little bit more. Camera angle here while you guys are in that posture. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. So from this child's pose, take one more breath. And releasing as you exhale, bring the hands down. We're gonna come forward onto our belly, so you may not need the blanket anymore. You can put that on the side. Come all the way down. And then from here, we're gonna start with hands under the shoulders, so elbows real close to the sides of the body. Untuck your toes, forehead to the mat. Feel the pubic bone on the floor, pressing down. And then as you inhale, roll the shoulders away from your ears. Come into a little mini cobra pose. Start to lift your head and your chest. Maybe even take the hands off the mat. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades and exhale down. Press down to the tops of your feet. Press down through your hands this time. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe come up a little higher. Breathe into the upper back and exhale lower. One more time. Pressing down through the pubic bone, the tops of the feet. Inhale up. Exhale down, and then walk the hands forward so that you're on your forearms now. Inhale, look forward, Sphinx pose. As you exhale, start to draw your belly towards your spine. See if you can lift those hips off the floor. So some of you might just work here, engaging your abdominals to lift up. Some of you might tuck your toes and come into forearm plank. A little bit of core work, a little strength. And then knees down, thighs down, hips down. Untuck the toes. Inhale to look forward. And be mindful, be present with what you're feeling. Need to come down, come down. Slowly lower. One more time. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, draw the belly up and in. Maybe tuck the toes, come to forearm plank. Slowly lower as you're ready. Bring those hands back underneath the shoulders. You can rest here for a minute if you want. You can always stack the hands and just rest. Or take the head to the side. And then as you're ready, one more time, roll the shoulders back and down. Press down to lift up, cobra, or maybe even coming into a little lazy up dog, or lifting the knees and coming into a full up dog. And then exhale, tuck your toes, coming into downward facing dog, or if that was a little too much transition, you can always just come to table. Otherwise, from table, you can start to lift the hips up, bent knee, downward facing dog, or straight leg down dog, or even just pedaling the feet back and forth. Find what works for you. Pressing down through the base of your index finger and your thumb, pushing the floor away. The tricep muscles going back and apart. Lifting hips up, pressing back. Inhale, shift your hips forward to plank pose. So I'm going to walk my hands forward a little bit so my wrists are under my shoulders. Finding that plank, press through your heels, draw your belly in, feel how strong you are. Exhale, lift the hips back to downward facing dog. Now option here, bring the knees down and rest in child's pose, or move back and forth for 2 more breaths. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale. Inhale to plank. Exhale to dog. If you're in child's pose, go ahead, come to downward facing dog. Lift those hips back up. Walk the hands back to the feet. Coming into a forward fold, we're going to inhale and lift halfway, hands to the shins. And exhale, finding your fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to if the hamstrings are tight. Breathe, take a little pressure off of the lower back. And then bend the knees a little bit deeper, hands out to the sides or even just to your hips. Start to reach all the way up, overhead, and exhale, hands to your heart. So here I'm going to just adjust my camera a little bit so you can see all of me. And we're actually going to go through some half sun salutations and some sun salutations tonight. So come to the top of your mat. I'm gonna stay facing you for now, facing the camera. Feet are hip width apart in mountain pose. Relax the shoulders down, lifting from the sternum. Inhale the arms overhead and exhale over to your left. Nice big stretch there. Take another breath, maybe reach a little more. Inhale back through center and exhale to the other side. Take another breath. Opening the chest, try not to cave forward, you're really opening up to the sky. Inhale back to center. And exhale, hands to your heart. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel your feet in contact with the earth. Lift all 10 toes and place them down. Knees soften up a little bit. Take the arms back down. Inhale, arms overhead. This time as you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. So you're going to hinge forward, let the arms come all the way down. You can use blocks if you want, and you guys will be at the top of your mat. You can bend your knees as much as necessary. You can let your head dangle. Maybe even grab your arms here. So it's first forward fold. We're just taking a deep breath and sighing it out, letting go. And then inhale, lift halfway, hands to your shins. Exhale, bend the knees, take the arms out to the side, press down through your feet and lift to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time, we're going to inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips back and reach to the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. So moving into sun salutations. And as we go through these today, really think about how we stretch both the front and the back body as we move. So being present with that, we're going to move nice and slow. We're going to go through 2 sun salutations, classic sun salutations, in the way that I was taught. So taking the arms down and up, inhale. As we exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale to lift halfway. You can use your blocks or your shins. As you exhale, we're going to step the right foot back and bring the right knee down. Untuck the toe if you can, unless there's a reason why you can't if you've got a foot in the shoe. So notice that we're stretching the front of the body here. And we're going to inhale to come up either to the knee and exhale, hands come down. Now we'll go ahead and tuck the back leg and step the left foot back, finding downward facing dog. So here we're stretching the back body. Inhale to shift forward again to that plank. You can always bring your knees down. We're all going to slowly lower, so knees, chest, and chin. Elbows in, inhale, lift up to your cobra, or if you want to do upward facing dog, that's fine too. Notice we're now stretching that front body again. Lift the heart to the sky. Exhale, draw your belly in. Move from, use your abdominals to pull. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Back body. And then inhale, look forward. We're going to step that right foot forward. Bring the left knee down and untuck the toe so that you're stretching the front of the left leg. Go ahead and take another breath here, bringing the hands to the thigh or maybe lifting all the way up. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toes and step forward, forward fold. Back body stretch. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend those knees, take the arms out to the side, and inhale to rise, and exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to move through the same thing, stepping back with the left foot, a little bit faster, but moving with the breath. Inhale, reach the arms, and exhale to fold. Inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, step the left foot back and bring the left knee down, untuck the toes. Inhale to rise. Maybe your hands are on your thigh, maybe to the sky. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toes, step back. Toes, hips forward to a plank. Keep the belly firm. And exhale, the knees down, chest and chin. Inhale, untuck those toes, slide forward. Come to cobra or up dog. And then as you exhale, you're going to draw the belly in and come back. Or if you're in up dog, tuck your toes and draw your belly back to downward facing dog. Pause here for a couple of breaths. If you need to bring your knees down, bring the knees down. As you're ready, inhale, look forward between those hands so you know where you're stepping. Step that left foot forward. Bring the right knee down and inhale to rise. Things don't always come out right. Be present with what is. And exhale, hands down, tuck the back toes, step forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold deeply. Bend those knees, sink your hips back, press down to rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so we're going to start the same way, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're just going to do sort of a half sunset out into high lunge. So, actually, before we do that, taking the heels of your hands right to the back of your pelvis, finding that bony area, fingers down. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other. Roll the shoulders away from your ears and inhale, lift from your sternum. So maybe even floating a little bit back bend here. I'm not pressing on my hips forward, I'm just finding stability here. And exhale, release. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. This time as you exhale, step the right foot back. You can use your blocks if you like. Walk the hands back. Make sure your knee stays in line with your ankle. We're not going to bring the knee down this time. Instead, we're going to inhale and rise into a high lunge. From here, maybe take the right hand to the back of your thigh and lift that left arm to the sky. Woo! Little balance challenge there. Reach. Press down through that front foot. That's an option. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to your blocks. Take your time. We're going to step the right foot forward and inhale, lift right away to that half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, hands come back down, step your left foot back. Inhale to rise. Find high lunge. Maybe you like to bring your hands together. Slide that left hand down if you can on the thigh, a little balance challenge. Reach that right arm up a little more. Breathe. And exhale, bring the hands back down to the floor. Step the back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale. Bend your knees, sink your hips back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good job. Pause, get water if you need to. We're going to move into a different standing sequence now and incorporate a little bit of balance. So again, being present with what is. Find your mountain pose. Find your balance comfortably between those 2 feet. Foot. So really grounding down between the base of your big toe and pinky and through your heel. Start to lift your right foot up. Find balance there. Maybe reach the arms overhead. See if that changes anything. You can also grab the knee into the chest. And feel free to use a wall or something to stabilize. But try not to fall into it. We want to keep pressing down to that foot, drawing the belly in. And then exhale, hands to your heart, step that foot back. Find high lunge again. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to take the left arm forward and the right arm back. Start to rotate your back foot so the back heel comes down. And then watch this front knee that's starting to sickle in. Knee stays in line with the shin and the ankle. The back toe can turn out as little or as much as is comfortable for your hips. So we're coming to warrior two, opening this hip. Inhale, circle the arms back up, and exhale, warrior two. Reaching to the fingertips. Breath in. Exhale it out. Can you come a little deeper? Maybe you can lift your heel up to come a little deeper. So play with the pose, be in the pose, be present. See what feels right for you. Reach a little longer maybe. And then we'll slide that back arm down and reach the left arm over the ear. Big breath in. And exhale, come back to center. We're going to come into side angle. So I'm going to take my elbow to the front thigh and the right thumb to the shoulder and then reach it over my ear. If you have a different practice and you want to come into side angle on the floor or a bind, totally up to you. Take whatever side angle you want here. We're stretching that right side body. Reaching your fingertips towards your hip. And again, if you want to take that full bind, you can. I'm just doing a half bind today. Keep hugging this left hip or tucking this left hip underneath you. So don't let it swing out behind you. And just looking forward. You can even let your head go a little if you want to stretch in the right side of the neck. Or take the chin to the chest. But then go ahead and engage again here. So that's a little bit of a sloppy side angle. The only point here was to get a little neck stretch. We do a lot with the neck tonight. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and pressing down with that forearm, lift back up into warrior two. Find your warrior two, breathe. As you exhale, we're going to bring both of those hands back down. Turn your back heel up to a lunge. And then walking your left foot over to the left a little bit, bring that right knee down and come into a lizard pose. And actually your choice, the knee can be down or it can stay up, but the left foot goes more towards the left. You could use your blocks here. Some people like to come down on their forearms. So finding the version of lizard pose that you like. Big opener here in the left hip. You might even choose to roll onto the left pinky toe side of that foot. Breathe, looking forward. Just being present with what is. Do you need more? Do you need less? Do you need to come out? Do you want to lift the knee up? And then from here, if your knee is down, you're going to lift that foot up and reach the left hand back. Maybe you catch that foot. And I didn't plan this well. I should have done the other side first so you could see me. If that, another possibility is actually placing a block underneath, quite do that right, underneath the, I'm going to try the lower level, underneath the thigh to lift it higher. You can take a little playing around here. And then bend the knee and try it that way. If you've never tried it, it's a fun kind of thing to do. You don't want it under your knee, so it's got to be above the knee. So taking that little reach back, and then letting go. Be careful not to slam your foot down. You want to move carefully, mindfully, and being present. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and take the hands down to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Nice, even, symmetrical pose. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Roll those shoulders back. Inhale into cobra. Tuck the toes back to downward facing dog or child's pose. So your choice. And then I'm just going to step the right foot forward, the left foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, and exhale, hands to your heart. So we have another side to do. Take a moment to pause. Just be present. What are you feeling right now? As you're ready, we're going to go ahead and ground down through those feet. Pressing down now through the base of the right big toe, pinky toe, heel. Start to lift that left knee up. Maybe even give it a squeeze, find balance. And then start to step it back, find balance. And then maybe taking the left hand down, reach the right arm a little higher. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now I'm going to take that right arm forward, left arm back, start to open the back foot out. I'm going to switch around the other way so you can see me. So other foot opens out. I was going to stay that way because in a minute we're going to be in that lunge pose again, that lizard pose. So finding where you're take a few breaths here. Maybe try lifting that heel and get a little lower. Sinking a little lower. I'm not going to do that because I actually have some knee issues. So I'm going to stay in a regular warrior 2 here. Listen to what your body wants tonight. And then take that left arm down, reach the right arm over your ear. Nice big breath in. Exhale, come back through center. Forearm to the thigh. We're going to come into side angle pose. Take that left thumb to your shoulder, shoot it up over the ear, and find side angle. If you want to take a different version, if you want the hand down to the floor, fine. Do the one that's right for you. Breathe. First, just stretching that left side, opening through the chest, and then maybe taking that hand behind you into a half bind, reaching the hand towards your hip, or even towards the thigh. Those of you that want can take the full bind. Keep hugging that right hip under you so you're not swinging it out behind you. Open through the chest. Feel that nice, big openness of this pose. And then swinging the arm back up. We'll come back to warrior 2. As you exhale, bring right hand down inside of the right foot. Left hand down, turn the back heel up. Walk that right foot back over. I'm actually off my mat, so I'm going to walk it over to the edge of the right edge of the mat. Stay here. We're going to bring the knee down using blocks like I did on the other side. Forearms to blocks, so on and so forth. Hold for a couple of breaths. If you need to come out, come out. I'm going to switch sides because I wanted to show you on the other side the knee down. So with that knee down, lift the back foot up and reach back. See if you can grab that foot. Nice stretch in the front thigh. If that's not happening for you today, no worries. If you want to try putting the block to the upper thigh, it's a little tricky if you've never done it before. It can help to lift your leg up a little and maybe you can reach it. And if not, no worries. Try for another day. That's why it's a practice. And then come back to your lizard pose. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. Breathe. And from here, inhale forward to plank. Get your blocks out of the way. And exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your belly. We give you a little break here. So stacking the hands, rest your forehead, maybe wiggle the hips back and forth. Take a little pause. And then from here, we're going to start to roll onto our left side. So you're going to keep your forearm down. It's just like we do with forearm plank, except the forearm is going to be parallel to the front of your mat. So forearm parallel to the front of the mat, roll onto the left side. The hips are going to stay stacked. So we're going to come to a side forearm plank. Couple of options. So the first option, if you've never done this before, you might want to bend both knees. Easier option. Working with the obliques, we're going to take this right hand down and then take the right arm up to the sky. Pressing down to that forearm, elbow is in line with the shoulder. So that's a modified version. Otherwise, legs straight, hips stacked. Pressing down on the forearm, lift the hips up, take the right hand to the sky, forearm plank. Breathe, side forearm plank. Working those obliques. When you're ready, bring the hips slowly down. Hand comes down. Roll to the center. Take a little break. Stack your hands. Rest your forehead. Breathe. And while you rest, I'm going to switch to the other side so I don't have my back to you. As you're ready, same thing on the other side. Right forearm is going to be in line with the front of the mat. Elbow in line with the shoulder. You decide if you want to take the knees together. Hips are stacked or straight. I'm just going to do it the one way this time. So, and you can use the hand to help you, the left hand, pressing down to sort of lift those hips up. But once you get there, then no more cheating. You can maybe bring your hand to your waist or reach it up to the sky. Breathe, breathe, breathe. If this is really hard, go back to the bent knee version. Keep engaging those abdominals. Lift those hips up high. Slowly lower down when you're ready. And go ahead and take that little rest on your belly. You can even take the feet a little wider apart. You can wiggle the hips and breathe. So one more thing here. We've worked a lot with the front body. With the right arm still parallel to the front of the mat. We'll stay on this side since that's where I am. We'll go ahead and bend that left knee. Again, bring that heel towards your glute here. Breathe and just enjoy that stretch. And release. Switching to the other side. I'm not going to turn around this time. This is basically we're doing the same thing. So left forearm in line, parallel with the front of your mat. Bend your right knee, reach back, grab that foot if you can, or just reach towards it. Pressing the foot towards the glute. Feel the stretch in the front of your thigh. Breathe. So just giving ourselves a little bit more preparation. We're going to end with a back bend. And a little heart opener. So as you're ready, release that foot. Hands under your shoulders, roll those shoulders back, pressing down to lift up, draw back into your child's pose. If you want to take a little break here, resting for a couple of breaths, you might want to grab a blanket. We're going to come into a kneeling posture. It can also be helpful to have a block here if you have one handy. So I'm going to come to stand on my knees. And for the first part, we won't need a block, but I'm going to set it back there so it's there. So just like we did standing, taking the heels of the hands to the lower back, thumbs out, pinkies close to each other. And then making sure that the hips are right over your knees. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows towards each other, lift from the sternum. So this might be it for you. Maybe you can lean back a little bit. Looking up to the sky, if that's okay on your neck, and if not, just kind of look forward, just tucking the chin a little bit. Breathe back up, bend the knees, sit back on the heels. If you need to sit in a different way, go ahead and take care of you. Rest for a moment. We're going to do 2 more of those. So you can just repeat what we just did twice, or we can go a little bit deeper. So here we're going to come back up onto the shins. And you can tuck the toes or leave them untucked. It's up to you. Tucking is a little bit easier if it doesn't hurt your knees because the heel is going to be a little higher. So what we're going to end up doing is reaching back. We'll start with the left hand towards the heel. And inhale the right arm up to the sky. So we're coming into camel pose. Remember, if this is like the heel is nowhere within reach, you're just going to come back and repeat what we did the first time. So taking that hand to the heel. The other option is to take your block on the highest height inside your foot and taking your hand to the block and reaching that right arm up. So there's actually 3 options for you. And then exhale, gently come back up, sit back on your heels, take your block to the other side if you use the block. Pause for a minute, maybe taking that index finger to the thumb, just like we did when we started. And then coming back to stand. Bring that block inside the foot if you're going to use your block. Tucking the toes if you like to tuck the toes. So maybe you can just kind of reach back, find that heel, and lift the left arm up to the sky. It might be really easy for some of you. Otherwise, repeating the first posture, or look back, find that block, taking the hand to the block and reaching the left hand up. I'm just going to take the heel today. Breathe. Not need the blanket for that, so totally up to you. I'm going to take the blanket aside, coming down into a brief little child's pose here. When you're ready, walk yourself back up. The other thing that's really nice to kind of counter that for the spine is a little twist. So coming into Baddha Vajrasana, which I always butcher that word, but we're going to just simply take our hips over to the left a little bit. So I slid my hips off of my heels. And then it seems a little counterintuitive, but we're going to take that right foot and place it sort of in the arch of the left foot. So right on top of that foot. And then we're going to start to turn to the left. So I'm going to take that left hand down beside me, right into the outside of the knees, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale. And as you exhale, just take a little subtle twist to the left. So some folks like to reach their hand around the back hand, the left hand towards the right thigh. Otherwise, you can just keep the foot on the floor. There's a little bit of a shoulder opener here. One more breath. And exhaling back to center, we'll gently, slowly switch to the other side. So shift your hips over to the right. We're going to place the left foot right into the arch of the right foot. So left foot on top. Always feels that this pose is always, for the years I've practiced, felt awkward to me. It feels like you want to put the feet the other way. But the left stays on top. The right comes behind you. Left hand outside of that knee. Sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, twist towards your right. And again, those of you that like to take the back hand around, the right hand around towards the left, feel free to do that. There's another deeper version of this, but I'm not going to show you that one tonight. Breathe. One more breath. And come back to center. We'll go ahead and release the feet. If you feel like you need a little more hip movement, you can take the feet out wider than hip width apart. Do a little side to side with the knees, like a little windshield wiper. And then let's end bringing the soles of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall. Promise we'll get a little shavasana. As we exhale, just hinging forward any amount. So hinging from the hips, not rounding in the back. If you need to sit up on that blanket, you can. Breathe. Some of you might be able to come in deeper in the pose. As you inhale, come all the way back up, bringing knees together. We're going to roll onto our backs and prepare for Shavasana. So if you want to place a rolled blanket under your knees, or if you want to have a pillow under your head, anything you like here. Blanket for the knees is nice if you have any low back issues. You could also choose to keep your knees bent. Oftentimes I like to do this. Be as wide as the mat, just let the knees fall together. Placing the hands on your belly or out to the sides. Find that pose of rest. And come back to your breath. Feel the breath in the belly. Feel the belly soften as you exhale. Feel the breath in the ribs. Feel the ribs soften as you exhale. And feel the breath all the way up the chest and the collarbones. Collarbones soften as you exhale. Take several breaths here, just feeling how the breath moves the body. Feel all the parts of your body touching the floor underneath of you. Noticing any place, maybe one side feels heavier than the other. Just notice what it feels like to be here. In the now, with nothing else to do but be present. Notice the temperature in the room. Notice if your body's sweating a little bit. Feeling the heat and the warmth of the body after your practice. Or perhaps you're beginning to cool down. And feel the texture of the clothes you're wearing on your skin. Notice any scents or smells in the room. A sense of taste in your mouth. The sense of sight behind closed eyes. Just seeing the darkness behind your eyelids. Feeling how comforting that can be, just giving the eyes a break. No phones, no computer screens. And hear the sounds in the room, maybe sounds outside the room. Hear the sound of my voice. And then being present in this body, this great gift. Feel the whole body lying on the floor. The circumference of the body, the edges of the body, from the toes to the crown of the head, from the fingertips, spine, tailbone, all the way up to the forehead and the crown. As you inhale, reach a little bit wider, take up a little bit more space. And as you exhale, let go. Releasing anything not serving you. Gently begin to bring small movements back to the body with the breath. Maybe just inhaling the fingers open and closed, or wiggling your toes. Or gently taking your head side to side. As you feel ready, take a bigger stretch. Maybe reaching the arms overhead. And exhaling over to your side, taking a moment to pause there and just feel grounded. Body against the floor. And then gently, slowly taking all the time you need, using your hands, walk yourself back up to a seated position. Let your head be the last thing to rise. Keeping eyes closed if possible. Find a comfortable seat. You can take the index fingers, the tips of the index fingers to your thumbs, curling the other fingers in, and allowing your palms to rest on your thighs. Find the breath again. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling it out. Notice if anything has shifted or changed in your body, your mind, or your breath. Being present with what is. That's really all we can do. Be present, be here, be now. And bringing the hands together in front of the heart, thumbs to the sternum. Take a deep breath in, lifting your heart, and exhaling, bowing forward. Honor yourself for taking this time for self-care. I honor all that are watching, all that we're practicing with. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.